Hello everyone, and welcome back at long last to the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. I realise that it's been a while since we were last here, but life has been doing that thing where it's busy and exhausting. It's been a weird year, actually. So it's been difficult for me to find the opportunity and the energy to get back to Warlock of Firetop Mountain, but I was determined to come back to it eventually, so here we are. We are Alexandra of Blacksand, and the last time we were here, we were actually making pretty good progress after kind of a plateau in the middle of our adventure. So we had been stuck in the maze for a while, trying to get through it, and if memory serves, we're down to our last life here, because we've had to respawn a few times. But we did eventually get through the maze, we defeated the Minotaur, we solved the, I guess puzzle is probably the best word, but it wasn't really a puzzle, so much as a finding things task, with the skulls with different pips on them to open various doors. We eventually found our way to the Maze Master, who teleported us out of the maze and back into the dungeon proper. It felt like we were in that maze for a long time, which was part of why I was struggling to find the energy to come back and push on with this, because I felt, frankly, just completely worn out by how long that maze took. But, having been at this for several hours now, and having finally got through that maze, I think we have to be into the final chapter, the final leg of the game. I would hope. I mean, for all I know, we could still be in the first 10th of the game. I have no idea how long it is, but being familiar with the book it's based on, I would guess we're into the last bit of the game. So, we've just had to sit down on a bench to regain some stamina, which it's showing us here, 5 stamina. So our stamina isn't great, our luck is in bad shape, but we're in about the best position we can hope to be at the moment. There isn't really anything else we can do right now. I believe we're out of food, so yeah, no food left, so we've got no other means of healing ourselves, so we will just have to cope with this 11 out of 18 stamina. And of course the luck, you're just kind of beholden to finding things that restore your luck. So, all we can do is press onward, and the first question, of course, is do we open the door or wander along the corridor? I feel like doors can be bad news because you tend to get weird encounters hiding behind them. But on the other hand, for all we know, that's Zagor's office. So, let's pop the door open. You try and open the door, but it holds fast, not even rattling a little bit as if it is locked. So you could try and kick it down, or leave it. The danger of trying to kick it down is we can do ourselves an injury. And we're not really in a position to take a hit to our stamina. Plus, if it's anything like the books, which it probably is, you can take a skill loss from a failed attempt to break a door down as well. So, I think we probably just follow the passageway and hope for the best. Lots of pictures of Zagor's face. This guy is really narcissistic. I mean, I wouldn't have a room full of half a dozen pictures of my own face, all of them just spaced 6 inches apart. That's pretty creepy. And he looks really angry. I don't want to look at pictures of myself being angry. Anyway, you continue along the tunnel, which bends to the west and begins to get quite narrow. You follow the passageway when you see a dull glow, which becomes more intense by the second. Is it dully glowing, Zagor? Fire incoming! We exclaim to ourselves. You press yourself to the wall and narrowly avoid being burnt to a crisp, but more flames are on their way. We don't have a potion of fire protection, so we can't drink it, so all we can do is prepare to dodge. And hopefully we're nimble enough. If it's a skill test, we've got a good chance. If it's a luck test, we're probably screwed. Test your skill! Okay, so we actually have a pretty good shot. It's not guaranteed, of course, but 10 or less on 2 dice is pretty good odds. So let's have a roll. Come on, come on. Ooh, just about. That's kind of fudged. on the corner between them, 4 and 5 there. But it counted it as a 9, which was the higher option there, but it's still enough. You make it through the flames, so we nimbly get out of the way of the flames rocketing along the corridor. Oh, crap. I think that's an actual dragon. Reaching a small rocky arch, you have to stoop to pass through. On the other side of the arch, you pause and look around. You're in a large cavern which disappears into distant blackness. The cavern is partially lit by a misty light shaft beaming in through a hole in the roof. You cannot see a way through. As you shine your lantern around the cavern, you hear a rumble. A dull glow flickers in the blackness. I've got a very bad feeling about this. Does your bad feeling come from the fact that there's an enormous dragon standing 6 feet from you? Because that might do it. Suddenly, a jet of fire shoots from the depths of the cavern, narrowly missing you and singeing the mossy growths on the wall. You throw yourself on the ground and look up to see a large dragon stalking out of the darkness towards you. Smoke curls from its nostrils. Its scaly red skin glistens with an oily covering. Ugh, oily dragon. Frankly, being covered in oil seems dangerous if you're a fire-breathing dragon. That seems like a bad plan. There's the dragon. An illustration from the book, I believe. The beast is some 15 meters long. That is a big dragon. How will you attack it? Well, apparently the only option we have is to pull out our sword and start hacking at it, which seems like a bad, bad plan. But we don't have another choice here. We don't have a potion of fire protection, and we haven't found DiMaggio's spell. The DiMaggio spell is, if memory serves, an essential thing for getting through the book. You can't get past the dragon without it, I believe. Though it's been a long time since I've read the book. But here we have the option to fight it, and that's the only option we're allowed to take. The mammoth beast roars once again, its red eyes flashing as it prepares to let loose with more dragonfire. You ready yourself for an epic battle. I don't want an epic battle. I want to leave. Well, apparently it's standing with its back to us, so presumably it's been farting fire in our direction. Okay, it wobbled, which means it's going to attack. It wouldn't surprise me at all if it has a big cone breath attack here, so we may not even be able to get out of the way. But let's try. What else can we do? Okay, it did have an area of effect attack, but it didn't hit us, so that's nice. Okay, so it does have a couple of weird attack patterns here. Okay, it's attacking again. I don't know how we're going to get to this thing. It seems like it... Yeah, so it doesn't have like a move attack pattern or anything, where it moves and then attacks or similar. But, yeah, I'm not sure how we're going to get it into a position where we can attack it. Maybe we can use one of our longer range attacks here. Not quick jab, because that will land before it moves, but maybe we can use piercing strike to try and land a hit here. Bam! Okay. One of the things that's concerning me about the dragon is if you look up here in the corner, it's got skill 10, which means it's the same skill as us, so it's just a 50-50 coin toss if we come into a clash against it. 10 stamina is quite a lot, but hopefully, if we can just keep chipping away at it like this, we might make it through. If we're lucky. Still don't know what all of its attacks are, so I'm going to keep moving for now. Okay. I imagine... Yeah, it's going to be a couple more turns before our piercing strike cools down. But I feel like at the moment the plan might be to just keep kind of dodging back and forth and line up piercing strikes whenever it cools down. So I'll just attack here to pass the turn. Okay. And it's going to move. It's going to have to move back though, right? Because it can't keep coming this way. Okay, it's attacking. It can hit this space, so get out of the way. Yeah, this is kind of an issue. Because being stuck in the corner like this, we do kind of have a problem. We're trapped in a pattern of just walking back and forth like this. Let's go up here. See if we can get it to break this pattern a bit. Okay. It might actually be able to hit us from here. Oh! Okay, that was nasty. And we're on fire, which is going to make things bad. Yeah, I'm actually really not sure what to do about us being stuck in the corner here. We've been manoeuvred into a position where we can't really get out. We may have to just keep going up here in this direction and tank a hit, which is horrible. Oh, okay, we got lucky there. We didn't actually take a hit. Small mercies. Well, big mercies, potentially, depending on how the rest of the battle goes. But there's a lesson there. We need to make sure that we don't get caught in that corner at the bottom again. So we need to keep dodging back and forth across this pair of two boulders here, I think. Let's pass a turn. Is it going to come all the way up to the edge? No. So let's move forward here and hope it doesn't shit me. I think we're done. This is going to be by far the shortest video in the series if this is the end of Alexandra of Blacksand here. Okay. I think we're probably going to hemorrhage all of our remaining stamina just from being on fire. Yeah, probably. Okay, let's attack here. Okay, we did land a hit. I don't think we can get out of this. Oh, we can, but it might still be able to hit us here. Yeah. And that's it. Defeated by the dragon. And sadly, that is it for Alexandra of Blacksand. So, yeah, because we don't have any respawns left, so that's that. I reckon we were pretty close to the Warlock, but yeah, we stumbled into the Dragon's Den instead. So, since there's no way out of that dragon cavern, I would guess that we had to go through that door to get to the Warlock, but there was just absolutely no way of knowing that. So, in true fighting fantasy book style, that was just a complete shot in the dark. There was no way of judging which way was the right way. So that's a little bit frustrating, but what can you do? That's it for Alexandra of Blacksand. Well, let's have a look through some of the other stuff we've got here. What did we get achievement-wise? We found a potion of yuck, a bottle with horrible contents. There's a load of stuff we haven't got, including one that's specific to Alexandra of Blacksand here. Help Alexandra meet an old friend. That didn't happen. So is that it? We only got one achievement in our 2 adventures, apparently so. Okay. I don't think I want to start up a new adventure, at least not yet. I may come back to it at some point, but I think the demise of Alexandra of Blacksand is probably a good place to stop it. What's Gauntlet mode? Welcome back, player. What is the Gauntlet? The Goblin Gauntlet is a journey through the mountain that is heavy on combat and light on story and narrative choices. This mode is only recommended for players who have experienced the mountain in story mode. Interesting. Well, we've experienced most of the mountain in story mode. You can run the Gauntlet by controlling one of Zagor's many minions available in the Goblin Scourge DLC, which I don't have as far as I know, or by unlocking one of the Special Legends characters. Yeah, so it's a very battle-heavy mode, apparently. So, in order to play it, we have to buy at least one of these characters. What do they cost? Oh, okay, we have to buy them with actual money. Which is kind of a nuisance. Can we use Oriana? Enter code? This is all a bit cryptic. Okay, so it looks like we can't play Gauntlet mode as it stands. So, let's see if we can access some new characters here, because we've got 402 souls. So, oops. Story. Yes, thank you, Oriana. Okay, so these are the basic characters who you have access to from the beginning. So we used Lunica Arcadi on our first attempt, and we used Alexandra of Blacksand this time. We have these other people who we haven't tried. Oh, these villagers at the back give you advice, apparently. I thought those might be adventurers, but apparently they're just villagers milling around. Okay. So we also have Aaron Gotspeed and whoever this person is. If it will let me click on him. There we go. Dekion Strom. So these are the ones you have from the beginning, but I think we can start unlocking extra characters now that we've got some souls. I don't know if these are more powerful or if they're actually harder. You know, they could be challenge characters. Which one of these looks interesting? So far, they all have pretty bad skill. As someone who played the books a lot growing up, I consider a skill of anything below 10 to be unacceptably low. So, skill of 7 is absolutely abysmal. It's almost the lowest possible skill. But this guy's a priest, so I suppose you wouldn't expect him to be much of a fighter. The thing that I'm curious about with this, though, is whether he has other stuff to compensate for being bad at fights. It looks like he has some kind of magic, a holy aura that saps the strength of those that stand against him. So it's treated like an attack, but it's an area of effect attack. And so is this hammer sweep. What about you? What do you have? No special attacks or anything. And this guy is a hunter from the Plane of Bones. Also no particular attacks. And these are epic adventurers. These are probably expensive. Yeah, 450. So it looks like we can't afford Elian Garak. Garak? However you'd pronounce that. And then we've got some heroes from Kickstarter as well. Malleus. So we can't afford the top tier of most expensive heroes, but we can get most of them. I mean, one out of a selection of most of them. So, let's buy a character while we're here. This guy has skill 10, stamina 24, which makes him possibly the physically strongest character we've got yet. 23 is a grizzled Rhino Man ex-soldier who wanders the southern fringes of the Kragan Heights working as a mercenary. He spent the majority of his life in the testing grounds, the barracks of Zaradan Mars Legionnaire Army. I was about to mention this book, actually, Creature of Havoc, which is one of the most memorable fighting fantasy books. Rhino Man immediately made me think of that book, and that's what this testing grounds thing is a reference to. It's a really, really weird book, extremely difficult, but very memorable, where you start off the game, and, well, play the whole game, indeed, as a weird, taloned creature with no memory. And, yeah, there are Rhino Men in it. So this guy is one of the Rhino Men guards who you have to fight in that book, I guess. So I'm tempted to buy him. But I'm also really tempted by the priest, just because he seems to play kind of differently from anyone we've played as so far. And there doesn't seem to be a lot in the way of spellcasters. I mean, you look like an archer, carrying a bow. Yeah. So, it looks like the priest is the closest thing we have to a spellcasting class in this game. So if we bought the priest, would we have enough left for anyone else? 200. So you could buy 2 characters at 200 or less. So we could get a couple from here. So we could get, for example, Hannabella Dehab, who's a merchant from Silverton with a keen eye and luck. Crea Datura. who's highly educated. Okay, sure-footed and capable warrior, but prefers to use her brains to avoid direct confrontation. That sounds like my kind of person. Okay, so why don't we pick up the priest? Really high stamina, actually. For someone who is not particularly physically capable, he's very beefy. So we'll pick up the priest, Land of Lawan, for 200 souls. The youngest son of a Salamonian noble. Land of Lawan is a wandering priest in the services of Usrel, goddess of peace. His aim is to spread peace and love throughout the lands of Alancia. You're maybe in the wrong profession if you're going into Firetop Mountain. You're not going to find a lot of peace and love in there. Although he's not above smiting evildoers with his warhammer if necessary. The fact that they've capitalised warhammer makes me think he's hitting people with the rulebook for the game Warhammer. He's the epitome of calm, despite the fact that he's led a wandering life for many years. Okay. The thing about healing his companions is a little bit weird, considering it's a solo game. But okay, let's buy the priest. And I think Crea Datura sounds potentially interesting. She's from a nomadic clan of mercenaries that roam the steppes of Kazan. She's a servant of good and an ally of Astragal the Wizard, whoever that is. She's sure-footed and capable, prefers to use her brains. My kind of person. Let's buy her. We still have 100 left, so we actually could buy another cheap character. I mean, this guy only costs 25, so we could potentially buy several cheap characters if there are enough of them. No, there may not be. So we might as well buy this character, because he's only 25. Wanushu was once the champion of the Bone Ridge clan, a tribe of hunters native to the Plain of Bones. He's a tracker. He hunts dinosaurs. So that should make him kind of a badass, but he's only got skill 9, which makes him not a badass at all. Among his most impressive captures are a Chaos Manticore, which ended up in Baron Succumvit's Death Trap dungeon, and a Minotaur that snorted poisonous gas through its nostrils. Well, there is a Minotaur in Firetop Mountain, which you might have to deal with, and you're probably not going to be able to capture it, frankly. But we'll buy him for 25 souls. So, I may well come back to this game at some point. No promises, but I may well, considering I think we got pretty close to the end. And obviously with something that relies as much on blind decision-making with no information as this does, the more you've played through it, the better chance you have on future plays. So, if we have another go, we might actually be able to get to the end. So, it's possible I'll come back to it at some point. And we now have 3 extra characters who we could send in to try and actually get to Zagor. Though, of course, they'll all have their own tasks as well. Alexandra of Blacksand was trying to deliver a package, but who knows what these other people want with Zagor, the Warlock of Firetop Mountain. Anyway, this ended up being a shorter episode than I was expecting, because I did not expect that we would immediately be bumped off by a dragon in our first few minutes. So, it's a little bit of a shame that we didn't just do that at the end of the previous episode, but what can you do? Thanks for watching, if you've stuck with me this long. If you haven't stuck with me this long, thanks for however much you did watch, but I guess you won't hear me saying that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Rejoin me the next time. I don't know what the next video is going to be. It's likely to be a review of some indie game or another, but I have a few in mind. I haven't decided yet which one it's going to be. But rejoin me then if you'd like to see some more videos from me. Thanks for watching again. I feel like I've said that about 5 times, but it bears repeating. And I'll see you the next time. Bye for now.